Welcome, students! Today we will delve into our introductory lesson on Seamus Heaney's Storm on the Island. We'll begin by summarising the poem's content, which vividly depicts the experience of a remote island community bracing for a violent storm. Next, we will explore the historical context of Northern Ireland during the Troubles, a period marked by intense sectarian conflict, and how this backdrop influenced Heaney's writing. We will also examine the poem's free verse form, varied line lengths, and use of enjambment. Let's begin! The poem's central theme is nature and the environment, as it emphasizes the strength of nature and the vulnerability of humans in the face of such forces, highlighting the tension between the serene island life and the chaotic, unpredictable weather. Now let's have a look at some of the trickier lines from this poem that we may not understand at first glance. The words wizened earth in the third line suggests that the earth appears old and dry, emphasizing the severity of the weather conditions and the barren, inhospitable nature of the landscape on the island. We then get a description of trees which might prove company when it blows full, which suggests that trees could provide a sense of companionship or comfort during the storm. Trees often serve as natural barriers against the wind, offering shelter and protection. However, in the context of the poem, the absence of trees on the island emphasizes the inhabitants' isolation and vulnerability. The lack of this company leaves them fully exposed to the storm's relentless force, underscoring their helplessness and the raw power of nature. The line, "so that you listen to the thing you fear," refers to the heightened awareness and acute attention that the inhabitants must give to the storm. The thing you fear is the storm itself, which is a powerful and potentially destructive force of nature. This line suggests that in the absence of visual distractions and with the stark, exposed landscape, the islanders are left with no choice but to confront and listen to the storm directly. Next, we see that the inhabitants sit tight while wind dives and strafes invisibly. The phrase "we sit tight" suggests that the islanders are passive observers, unable to take any action against the powerful forces of nature. The words dives and strafes use military imagery to describe the wind's movements, likening it to a fighter plane attacking from above. The word invisibly emphasizes the unseen and unpredictable nature of the wind, adding to the sense of vulnerability and powerlessness faced by the inhabitants. Lastly, let's look at the phrase, "space is a salvo," which is a powerful metaphor that encapsulates the overwhelming and relentless nature of the storm. A salvo is a simultaneous discharge of artillery or other weapons in a battle, typically intended to create a significant impact or to overwhelm an opponent. By describing space as a salvo, Heaney suggests that the empty air around the island is filled with the force and fury of the storm, as if nature itself is bombarding the islanders with its unyielding power. This metaphor vividly conveys the intensity and violence of the storm, making the surrounding space feel hostile and aggressive. Great! Now we've understood these tricky lines, let's move on to summarize what is going on here. So, what is Storm on the Island about? The poem vividly describes the experience of living on a remote island during a violent storm. It starts by portraying a peaceful, isolated island community. This tranquility is suddenly disrupted when a fierce storm approaches. The poem goes on to explore how the islanders prepare for the storm, such as by reinforcing their homes and securing their belongings. It captures their apprehension and fear as they brace for the powerful winds and crashing waves. Now let's consider some important context. Storm on the Island by Seamus Heaney reflects the conflict in Northern Ireland, specifically during a period known as the Troubles. This period, which lasted from the late 1960s to 1998, was marked by violent clashes between Unionists, who were mostly Protestant and wanted Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom, and Nationalists, who were mostly Catholic and sought a united Ireland. These conflicts involved bombings, shootings, and civil unrest, causing daily life to be filled with fear and disruption. These events impacted Heaney's writing, as he often explores themes of division, conflict, and resilience, reflecting his own experiences growing up during these turbulent times. The harsh and relentless storm in the poem can be seen as a metaphor for the political and social turmoil of the Troubles, illustrating the relentless and uncontrollable nature of such conflicts and the impact they have on communities. Through his vivid and powerful imagery, Heaney captures the sense of isolation and vulnerability felt by those caught in the storm, reflecting the broader experience of living through the Troubles. Storm on the Island is written in free verse, which means it lacks a regular rhyme scheme or meter. This formlessness is deliberate and serves to mimic the unpredictable nature of the storm itself. Just as a storm can change course suddenly and unleash its fury without warning, Heaney's poem unfolds without the constraints of traditional poetic structure. This allows Heaney to capture the sense of uncertainty and unpredictability that characterizes natural disasters, emphasizing how such forces defy human attempts at control or prediction. By using free verse, Heaney effectively mirrors the chaos and lack of order found in a storm, bringing the reader closer to the raw experience of facing nature's uncontrollable power. Within the free verse form, Heaney employs varied line lengths throughout the poem. This variation mirrors the ebb and flow of the storm's intensity, capturing its unpredictable nature. Shorter lines create a sense of urgency and tension, mimicking the sudden gusts of wind or bursts of rain that characterize a storm. Longer lines in the poem provide opportunities for reflection or detailed description. These lines slow the pace and allow Heaney to explore the nuances of the storm's impact on the island landscape and its inhabitants. By varying line lengths and structure, Heaney effectively captures the dynamic rhythm and pace of the storm, from moments of calm anticipation to the tumultuous climax. This is further highlighted by the use of enjambment, which is the continuation of a sentence or phrase from one line of poetry to the next without a pause or break. This mirrors the overwhelming power of the storm, creating a sense of breathlessness, thus creating a panicked feel, mirroring the panic of the people on the island. That's all for today! In this lesson, we delved into Seamus Heaney's Storm on the Island, captures the vivid depiction of a storm's impact on a remote island community as they brace for the impacts from the crashing and powerful waves. We explored the social historical context of Northern Ireland's troubles and how it influenced Heaney's work as the storm becomes a metaphor for the troubles and the relentless and uncontrollable nature of such conflicts and their impact on communities. We also discussed the poem's free verse form, varied line lengths, and enjambment, which capture the power of nature and societal conflict. Great job! Next lesson, we'll dive deeper into the imagery and language Heaney uses. See you next time! Watch the rest of the GCSE English Literature course at Sophos Education.